Another round of the boss tournament just finished, and now we only have 2 more to go, so we're getting really close to the grand finale. This round was Least Tier's Elite Bloonarius on the map Covered Gardens, with Geraldo banned and some cross-path restrictions for the NG, Beast Handler and Heli, and also no Paragons were allowed. Going from top to bottom in the brackets, the first matchup was Animal, who didn't have an opponent at all in this round because 2 players in the same matchup in the previous round didn't submit, so Animal wins this round by default. The next matchup was Felicia versus Nudsimisi, and sadly we have one more instance of a person not submitting, so this matchup was won by Felicia, who got a score of 153 tiers using the VTSG as the main damage dealer. This episode of the boss tournament is gonna be a very short one because everyone used the VTSG plus Adora. The differences between the runs were how much farming towers they needed to add and how many extra tiers they needed to spend on more defense over the tiers needed to create the VTSG. So the only run that we will look at in detail is gonna be the best run. The next matchup was Pytrek vs Isab, where Pytrek clenched the win by just 1 tier. Pytrek used a brilliant trick for the first tier. Like most people, he used a first strike sub for boss damage, but what did he do for the ceramic rushes? The answer is that he got nothing to defend against the ceramics. Every time he used a first strike on Bloonarius, he was stalling the round using his heli, so after Bloonarius sends out the rush, he ends the current round and then backs out of the game and then goes back in again. This then causes the rush to not be there anymore, a well-known bug that is often used in ranked runs, but I've never seen it used to delete every single spawn on the first tier before. Very cool stuff. He then went on to use the Ray of Doom for tier 2, Temple, Legend of the Night and Mad for tier 3, and then the VTSG for the final 2 tiers. A very good score, well done to Pytrek on moving on to the semifinals. His opponent, Isab, used a first strike Super Maelstrom combo for tier 1, a Flying Fortress for tier 2, Temple, Fortress, Desperado and Legend of the Night for tier 3, and then finally the VTSG for the final 2 tiers. A very strong effort from Isab made it very far into the tournament and was this close to making it to the semifinals. A very impressive result throughout the entire tournament. Congrats on making it this far. For the final matchup, we have Lendoli versus Jandolf. Lendoli also got a score of 115 tiers, just like Pytrek. He used a Spectre for tier 1, where he was very close to leaking, a very cool first tier. For tier 2, he upgraded it into a Flying Fortress and gave it a couple of buffs. For tier 3, he added a Mad, Spike Storm, Sun Avatar and also a Permabrew as the sacrifices to the temple that he gets towards the end of the tier and then finishes off the tier together with the Fortress and Legend of the Night. And for the final 2 tiers, just like everyone else, he used the VTSG. Yet another very good run by Lendoli. He has performed so incredibly well throughout this entire tournament. Amazing job for making it this far. But sadly, this is where his journey ends, because now it's time to look at the final run, which is from Jandolf. Jandolf got a score of 96 tiers, absolutely destroying everyone else. His first tier was very interesting. His farming consists of an IMF, BRF plus overclock, a bloon trap and a village. But unlike most players who used a first strike for damage, he waits a long time to save up cash for the Inferno ring, which he then overclocks. This was a very unusual choice. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use this tower to take out tier 1, so that was very interesting. The kill ended up being very close, almost leaking to the last few skulls, and he only has 3 lives because to use this starting strat while minimizing his tiers and getting the farming going early, he had to leak a lot of lives before the first boss tier. For the next tier, the overclock has been upgraded to the ultra boost and the bloon trap to the XL trap. During the kill, he starts ultra boosting a Dartling Gunner, for which he takes out an IMF Lone and then upgrades it to the tier 5 Mad, and together with the Inferno Ring and a tiny bit of assistance from Adora, this takes down tier 2, all the while being pretty close to leaking to the rushes. For tier 3, the BRF has been upgraded to a Central, a top and bottom path Super Monkey has been added, along with a tier 4 Desperado. He uses Desperado's ability on the Sun Avatar to increase its range so that he can create the Sun Temple and sacrifice the Inferno Ring for primary, Dark Champion for magic, and the Exile Trap for support. He then upgrades Desperado to tier 5, and this will be the primary sacrifice for the VTSG later, and he also starts building his Legend of the Night and a tier 4 bottom path super again to be his magic sacrifice. The damage from all of these towers will help out a lot in taking down this tier in time. For the last skull, he used the Legend of the Night's black hole to leak the DDTs spawned by the last Bloonarius rush. This tier was very close, and during the kill he's been working on adding Ultra Boost stacks to his towers. For tier 4, he has teleported the Legend of the Night outside of the range of the temple, he's added the anti-bloon and saved up cash for the VTSG. As soon as he gets to 500k, he uses Desperado's ability to increase the range of the temple and then turns it into the VTSG, sacrificing the Dark Champion, Desperado, Mad, and Banana Central. He starts by getting a jungle drums and then works on the middle path of the village to eventually turn it into a homeland defense. And that will be enough to take down tier 4. Now he's only got the final tier remaining. For this tier he's prepped some super monkeys that he will sacrifice to Adora so she can give double attack speed to the VTSG. He's also kept all of his farming despite the fact that he doesn't need any more cash, because then he can use those towers as sacrifices as well and limit the amount of extra tiers needed to buy the super monkeys for sacrifices. Now he has spent all 96 tiers that he's gonna use for the rest of the game, so all he does now is set his towers to strong, back out of the game sometimes to reduce the HP of the bad that Bloonarius spawns, and keep sacrificing towers and ultra boosting his VTSG. Both the Banana Central and the VTSG in this game was placed in such a way that he was able to apply the ultra boost despite a window covering the tower because of the large hitboxes of those towers. Very smart. Towards the end he uses the ultra boost one last time and then sacrifices that tower as well. He managed to beat the boss without adding a call to arms, getting fewer towers for farming than anyone else, and wasted fewer tiers than anyone else for boss damage. This was a very impressive run. The gap between him and the closest person was 19 tiers, and my bet is still on Yandalf to take down the whole tournament. This round did end up being least tiers as I expected, and the next round has already been announced, which is going to be timed also as I expected, and my prediction is that it's going to be timed for the last round as well. Although this timed round is going to be the first time we see all 5 tiers being played out. The previous 2 times was only the first 3 tiers, but now it's the entire thing, and it's going to be on the map Erosion, so that's going to be something new, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Best of luck to all the players who made it onto the semifinals. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.